All right, Kevin, this is Adrian Gomez. We're going to look at your back leg and just trying to zoom in a little bit. Trying to get you in here. About 98 degrees, which you're doing a good job of squatting back in there. What I will say in your back knee, though, your back knee is actually facing this way. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to get you inside, going in towards your target, which would allow you to drive that leg and to finish, to start rotating your hips a little bit earlier. What you see is you see this knee pop back forward, which is, kind of normal, but it means you're not getting everything out of your back leg. You're throwing mostly arm. And a lot of that has to do with the way that your foot and your knee relates to your throw. So you're squatting far enough, 98 degrees, but I'd like to see you get your toe almost like a 45 going this way, and get your knee to be able to be inside your ankle, and that's going to put your hips on target, put your chest on target, and everything's going to start flowing down the mound a little bit easier. So back leg squat, but I'd like to get your knee inside, going the right direction. I think that's going to be key. Moving on to the next one right here is our double angle. We're at 110 degrees, which means that we have enough flexibility, which is solid. But like I said, that knee really starts coming up, and I'd like to continue to rotate those hips forward into release point, and then let your leg do whatever it wants to do after release point. I think you're missing some velo, maybe 2 miles an hour out of that just from your knee popping back. And there's tons of drills that we do to get that right. But just learning that there's more in the tank is good. I think that's a positive. So as you rotate into the front side, you are at 139 and pretty much stays there. Gets a little bit better. What I'd like to see is 139 is not bad. What I'd like to see is this knee retract. If you look at Syndergaard, his front knee is almost straight. And the reason why it's almost straight is because his back leg continues to drive. It's almost straight. And then this side comes back, retracts, and then his whole chest pops over. So if you can get into that position with your knee, I think you're going to have a huge positive motion. We're going to suck that knee back and then drive that chest through. It's going to be a lot easier to throw with your body and less with your arm. Other portion of this is from your lower half. We are crossing up a little bit, so you'll see that cross up. Here's your back foot, and then here's your front foot. So that might be the reason why that knee comes back and you're not able to push. So what I would suggest, and this might be something that you'd like to do, is opening up your stance just a tad bit more. We're talking 4 or 5 inches, which is going to allow the hips to rotate better and to be able to maintain your strength into your back leg and better hip rotation. So, your front foot definitely is something that I would try to fix. Obviously in the off season, but when you're in the game, don't worry about it. But just trying to slide this foot over just a tad bit. All the small changes that we're going to make are really minimal, but they're going to really be huge. We're trying to chase 4 or 5 miles an hour, and those 4 or 5 mile an hour increases are hard to come by as you get up in the upper 80s. So You're balancing on your leg at the end. It actually retracts there. That's how I would like you to look when you're throwing the ball, right before you throw the ball. So as far as the lower half, I mean, those are the things that I would change. Let's get into the upper half. So front glove, we're going to look at the front glove. Front glove comes straight down. It's not bad. It's a firm front glove. What I'd like to see you do earlier is pinch. Instead of down, I'd like you to pinch a little bit higher. You can see where your arm goes down and your throwing side comes up. What I'd like to see is that this pinches early, starting that hip rotation, which is going to allow you to stay straight, to continue to push off the ground with your calf at the last second, and that's going to be able to push your chest forward. All these things, everything your front side does, your glove allows it to have leverage and to rotate around it. So I'd work on that, just keeping it up a tad bit into rotation. That's going to help, drive this chest forward. When looking about stacking, okay, what I'd like to see on the stack is that your knee is going this direction and your upper body is stacking back. So basically, we want to see your head over this rubber. I know this seems like crazy that I'm saying move your head back to this line, but that's going to allow your knee to stay inside, your butt to sit down, and to be able to load properly on your back leg. And then see how right when you start going, I'm right here. When you come back, I'm right here. And as you go forward, we're back a little bit, which is pretty good. And then I'm driving into it. I'd like to see your butt sit. I think that knee is really messing things up. So, but your upper body needs to be able to stack better as well. So knee inside a little bit better, upper body over this line, talking, 3 or 4 inches back further. So stacking definitely needs to improve. I think that's something that's going to really help you a lot and allow you to throw with more of your body and less with your arm. Okay, front glove. We're going to look at chest. Trying to get in here. This is a pretty far away video, but I think your elbow's quite high. Let's see here. Judging from where your elbow is, I want to see a line between your shoulders to your elbow, and see how the front arm is dropping straight down. It's hard to keep that line up, and I think that your elbow is quite elevated. I want to say I need a little bit better video closer up. If you could set a guy right here in front of you and take a video from there, it'd be awesome. But I think your elbow's elevated, and so watch what happens as you drive through. You're driving with your arm up, elbows elevated above the shoulder. What I'd like to do is start and notice how it's kind of coming up and over. I want to see this front glove pinch here earlier and this backside rotate better, because you're leading. I think you could lead more with your chest and less with your arm, and that's going to really maximize the power out of your upper body. Now, this is what we call arm fly out, and this is something you don't have, which is amazing. Your hand stays right on top of that ball and as you pronate into after release point, you're getting across your body, which is what we want. No issues there. We do have a high elbow, so that's something I definitely want to work on. And then let's see if there's any acromial line. Your shoulder blades are pinching really well. And rotating into there. Acromial line. So last thing I got to talk about is posture. So ball posture at release point. This is what we call a B posture. That's who you are. So let's see where your head is. Your head starts here. And your head has to move forward, and then it moves back this way. So that's quite a bit of movement with your head. What we want to do is, like I said, get the knee inside, facing this way, and your upper body more over this back foot. So if I can get you to rotate back in this position here to keep that longer, and at the same time stay back a little bit, talking 3 or 4 inches back further, what you're going to see is if you started in this position just a little bit further, stacked back this way and straight up into that line, you'd see a minimal head movement. So we're talking like maybe 2-inch head movement, but you're having to move that head quite a bit, and I think that's minimizing your ability to rotate, and it's also throwing a little of the mechanics off on the upper body. But I think we need to start with the back knee, move into the chest rotation, the front glove. The elbow's elevated quite a bit. That back leg collapses, and that's where we're missing a lot of that power out of that back leg. That's something that is going to be crucial for you. And that concludes the video analysis. So online you'll have access to all of the weaknesses and segmented drills to fix each weakness. And if you walk through them, do the arm care, do the bands, I think you're going to have a great program set up for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know.